Hey, Walt from StogieReview.com here once again. It's been a couple of hours since I did my last review, and I smoked the Curivari Reserva Limitada Classica Epicure, and I was so impressed with it that I kind of had the urge to smoke another one. I had a couple of things to do around the house, and now that I'm kind of caught up and had a little bit more free time, I thought, you know, what better time to run downstairs, grab another Curivari, and do a quick first impressions review on it. Again, to sort of put my feelers out there and get more of a feel for the line. So that's what I've done. And the next one in line is the Curivari Reserva Limitada Petit Cafe. One of the things I didn't mention in the last review, which I didn't even realize until I looked at this band, was that there are a couple of Reserva Limitadas. This is the Cafe line. The other was the Classica line, and there's one more, which is the 1000 series, and I'm guessing they are the ones with the white band. This one I'm assuming is Cafe because it's the only size listed for this stick falls under the Cafe line, and this is a Petit Cafe at 4.5 by 42. Much like the other ones, these are 10 cigars to a box, and it looks like they're going to retail for about $6 a single or $60 a box. So same price as the larger sort of big brother of the line, and I'm looking forward to smoking it. So first and foremost, just want to look over it real quick, and much like the other one, it looks very good. It appears to be well made. It's consistent in color from head to foot, and it's also consistent in color with the second sample that I have. And just like the other one, it's firmly packed. This one doesn't have any soft spots in it, and the foot looks a little more solid than the last one. So if I had to guess, I'd think maybe this one's a bit stiffer than the other that I smoked, the Epicure. Pre-light draw is effortless. This one's got sort of a spice component to it. Something along the lines of maybe like a pumpkin. It's kind of a spice. But very good to start, so we'll see how it goes. This one's got even more punch through the sinus than the Epicure. That initial puff is a little richer, and you've got more of a pepper or spicy component on the tongue, whereas the other one was all sort of in the retrohale. Yeah, first couple of puffs are really intense on the pepper. I'm not getting any of that sort of pumpkin-y kind of spice now that it's lit, but really heavy through the sinuses. It's starting off to be a real sort of powerhouse firecracker kind of a cigar. But so far we're off to a good start. Smoking well, producing lots of smoke, and it's really easy to draw. So sit tight, I'll be back in just a few seconds, and we'll take a look at probably the first half of the cigar, being as this one is shorter, and I'd like to try to keep the review a bit shorter in all. So sit tight, and I will be right back. Alright, I am back, and I'm still plugging along on the Curivari Reserva Limitada Petit Cafe, and I've got to say, it's going really well. The ash is a bit lighter than the Epicure that I smoked earlier. It seems to be a little stronger, I still don't completely trust it because it doesn't have that really solid looking compact shape. You know, there are some, you know, little voids and crevices here and there, which makes me think that the ash is going to be relatively weak. And, you know, it didn't take much to knock it off the end of the cigar. Gentle tap on the ashtray. It was more than enough. Flavor-wise, this cigar is very interesting. It's pretty intense too. I'm getting a lot of pepper and some spice through the sinus. It's very heavy through the sinus, and it's also kind of battering at my palate, my tongue. I feel kind of wore out. It's smoking like an aggressive cigar. And when I say that it's smoking like an aggressive cigar, it tastes good, it's enjoyable to smoke, but I don't think this is something that I could smoke back to back to back. There are some cigars that, you know, I could, if I were at a HERF or some sort of cigar event, I could smoke the same cigar over and over and over again and not worry about it. I wouldn't feel weary, I wouldn't get tired of it. This cigar is pretty intense, and it will batter. I think that it will batter the palate to the point where, you know, by the time you were halfway through that second one, you know, you probably wouldn't want to smoke it anymore. And this is definitely something that I would smoke, you know, at the end of a long day to wrap things up. It's very good. It's got rich flavors. It's but it is very aggressive on the palate. Now, as far as those flavors go, I'm getting some coffee tones. They're nice and rich, and it's actually making me want to go get a cup of coffee. I'm pairing it with water right now, but the coffee tones are very nice. It's got, again, the peppery, spicy component on the palate, and it's got a very rich, just natural tobacco flavor with, I don't know, kind of like I don't know, like a savory, meaty kind of little oomph to it, and that's really the best I can describe it. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what I'm getting out of it. As you can see, I'm getting lots of smoke, lots of smoke out of the cigar. Again, intense through the sinus. The resting smoke is pretty intense too. It's the type of smoke that once you blow it out, you want to get away from it, because it is kind of heavy, and it is enough to, you know, make you crinkle up your face and hold your nose. But it's providing tons and tons of dense smoke. It really coats the palate well. Definitely a full-bodied cigar, full-flavored. As far as the finish goes, it's a touch on the dry side, and that's really it. At this point, that's really all there is to say. I'm going to stop in one more time. We'll take a look at how the cigar performs, you know, around the band and beyond, and then I will wrap it up and let you be on your way. One other thing that I didn't mention in the other review, I just looked up on the Curivari website, and it appears as though this cigar as well, I really couldn't tell with this cigar, I didn't see it listed, but the other cigar was all Nicaraguan, wrapper, binder, filler, and I would imagine this cigar is the same way. So that's what I've got for you so far. Sit tight, I'll be right back, and then I'll wrap it up and let you be on your way. Alright, well, I am back, and it's about time to wrap up my Curivari Petit Cafe Reserva Limitada. And as you can see, the burn's a little wavy, but it's far from being out of hand and problematic. The ash is a bit stronger than the previous cigar that I smoked in the Epicure, but it's still relatively weak. One of the biggest changes I've experienced with this cigar so far is right around the time when I took the band off, there was a shift in the balance between power and flavor. What wound up happening is, in the beginning it was plenty of power, but even more flavor, and that's how it continued for most of the second third, or for the first third, I'm sorry. When you enter the second third, it's more of an even playing field. It's lots of power, lots of flavor. Now we're down in the final third, and I'm seeing power up here, flavor down here. And, you know, I don't enjoy it when cigars tip that way, where the focus becomes more on the power than on the flavor. I'm more of a flavor person. So I'm not finding this cigar as enjoyable as I did. It's not to say it's a bad cigar. I'm enjoying it, just not as much as I did. Now, looking at the price structure, seeing as this much smaller cigar is the same price as the larger Epicure that I smoked earlier, I'm just going to assume that this Cafe line is supposed to be an upper tier Reserva Limitada. I don't know if that's the case or how that happened or what happens there, but I'm assuming that this is supposedly the upper tier cigar, and personally I find that I enjoy the Epicure much more. It was something that I enjoyed throughout the entire stick, not just the first 2/3. Now, it's still smoking beautifully. Lots of smoke, easy draw. The smoke is nice and dense, easy to get through the sinuses. It coats the palate well, but it is aggressive on the tongue, especially my tongue. It feels really kind of worn out, and this is only a Petit Corona. I feel kind of like I've smoked maybe 3 to 4 cigars already, where you sort of get that weary palate kind of numbness going on. I'm getting the same thing just from smoking the smaller Petit Corona, so it does appear to be much more aggressive, at least to me. The flavors really haven't changed. It's still got some kind of a meaty component, a nice hearty sense, a nice natural tobacco flavor. There's a little bit of sweetness. It's still a touch dry, and I'm not really getting any other flavors out of it. I'm trying to smoke slower and concentrate on it more, but I'm not picking up anything other than that. The flavor level is probably medium at this point. The body, I would say, is full, and the finish is mildly dry and a bit aggressive through the sinus and on the palate. But overall, I'm still very interested in the line. I didn't enjoy this as much as the Epicure, as I said already, but I'm really looking forward to smoking some of the other samples that I was able to pick up at Top Shelf. So that really about wraps it up. I'm not quite sure what else to add to this video, but that's where I stand on the Curivari Reserva Limitada Petit Cafe. So until next time, happy smoking.